Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is yet another day, a new day, a bright Sunday, a day that the Lord has made, that we should all be glad in it. A day that so many countries recognize it as a Mother's Day. It has been prepared, it has been set aside. Therefore, at this moment, I would like to take this opportunity to wish every mother, every woman, a Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everyone watching us this afternoon. Once you are a woman, even if you haven't gotten your own child, God knows the reason, and He only has the answer. But at this time, I would like to advise you to rejoice as the day has come to stay. Mother's Day. Let us enjoy and be glad in the day. At this moment, we cannot mention everyone's name, but if you are watching us, your name is not with us. If you say hi, we can acknowledge you. Therefore, at this moment, all that I can say is happy Mother's Day to every woman, every mother watching us at this time. This is coming to you right from Richmond Media. No other media station will bring you this good news. Today, as women, there are so many issues that come along our lifeline. But how do we go by it? Today, we have looked through and we can identify one particular problem that is troubling so many women in the whole world. But how can we know when this is coming on our way? How can we deal with it? What are the causes of it? And how can we seek for help when it's needed? The topic that we have chosen today, based on Mother's Day request, is fibroid. What is it? At the end of this program, we will get to know what a fibroid is and how we can survive, even if we have it. If we haven't gotten it, how can we prevent ourselves from getting it? This afternoon, I have with me at the studio my usual team. and it's no other team than the members as follow: Mr. Owusu Ansah, Maxwell. Mr. Owusu Ansah, you are welcome to Richmond Media.
Thank you very much for
And
having me this week too.
thank you so much. And Sister Mrs. Linda Amponsah.
Thank you so much, Hanna.
You're welcome, sister, and a brother. This afternoon, everyone is watching us. If you have any Mother's Day wishes, I will permit you to do so before we start the program, please. I don't mention names when the two of you are here. So please, if you have anything, you can just come out with it. Thank you so much. If no one is talking, then I will talk. Wherever my mom is, Mami Yetiwa, the mother, my own mother, the one who, by the grace of God, gave me through her the opportunity that I am sitting here today. She is resting, her body is resting at the junction of Enyinasu when you get to Sechedumasi, the third city in Ghana. May your soul, may your body rest in peace. Lady and gentleman, if you
Right.
don't your mom,
Thank you.
your
So I am wishing my mom a very, very, very happy Mother's Day. So my mom lives in Brunahafo. She lives in Sunyane. Sometimes lives in Brekum. Sometimes lives in Siatre. She was born in Siatre, and she lives around these three regions. I mean, three towns that I have mentioned. So wherever she is, her name is Nana Ya Nyakun. I wish her very, very happy birthday. I miss her so much. The last time we met in England is quite a long time. I wish she's here with us. But she knows this morning I have sent her a beautiful message, and I know she appreciates every one of us, I mean, her children. So we wish her very happy Mother's Day.
thank you so much for
Okay.
the wishes.
Um,
Oceansa.
the reason I was silent for a moment there is that I have a very long list that could actually take this whole
Let me come
program.
in. The list, we can reserve it, but the special one who gave birth to you, that you are sitting here without her, if her womb did not accept you, you wouldn't be here. So that is the one I want you to go for, and then the rest we can deal with it later.
Okay, so I cannot bring her in and then leave that line that she too came from, because we are so tightly knitted together. That is why I don't usually segregate. You see my mom, you see her mom, you see her mom, and all the other beautiful and wonderful ladies. So I would say that the descendants of Adrobedu and Amenfum, God bless them.
Amen. We thank God for that. So now we will go straight to the point. And if my grandma Yesida is watching me as such a demand, say, "Oh Nana, you made me this because I lived with you. Thank you for bringing me up to this point." So happy Mother's Day to my grandma, and to my grandma Hanna Bimah too. May her body and soul rest in peace. So what is fibroid, ladies and gentlemen?
As today is a Mother's Day, I think I will go first. And also, the discussion on fibroid is very dear to my heart as well. So when we look at UK, it's about 20 to 50% estimated of women of reproductive age currently have fibroids. And up to 75% of women will develop fibroids sometime during their childbearing years. Only about one third of these fibroids are large enough to be detected by a health care provider during a physical examination. So they are often undiagnosed. So when we look into fibroid, why fibroid or what brought fibroid and things like that. They are linked to the hormones produced by the ovaries, estrogen and progesterone. Fibroids usually develop and grows as long as the ovaries are produced, and anemia often improves. So when you have a higher estrogens, you can have fibroids and things like that. Probably Maxwell will add a bit to it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so to add to that, fibroid in its nature, it often appears in the lining of the uterus. So there's this lining called the myometrium, which mostly is the muscle fiber of the womb, the uterus. And if in its growth there is impairment, and it becomes fibrous, layered up and mushy, then it can be considered as a fibroid tissue, and they grow in or around the uterus, but mostly in the lining, the muscle lining of the uterus. So that is what it actually is. Um, it is not cancerous in nature. That is, the growth rate may be higher than the normal uterine cell, but it doesn't affect the uterine cells in any way. Just that they grow on their own, so they kind of extract or take up nutrition that is supposed to be meant for the uterus, and then they use that to grow in mass and size. So that is what fibros are. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that definition. So one may ask, why is it women? I know Linda mentioned of the hormone, that the reason why that we get it, yeah. Or maybe Miss Ansah has also got something that to add it. So why does a woman, you're thinking about yourself and all of a sudden a fibroid comes in? What brings about?
Okay, so I would say that is particularly due to that organ that women possess, the uterus, the womb, for housing a new baby or a fetus. The activities and function of the womb um, entails a lot. It takes up a lot, and then by virtue of that organ, that is the reason why women are predisposed to fibroids. It's because they have that actual organ, that's uterus.
Thank you so much, Sister Linda. Do you want to add something, or we should proceed on to the next question?
Yes, let's proceed. Thank you.
Okay, so when fibroid occurs in the uterus or around it, as a woman, how can I know that I have a fibroid? Or how can someone knows that she has fibroid?
Thank you. That's a very good question. How can one knows that they have a fibroid? Fibroids are often found during a routine pelvic examination, or sometimes none. So, as a woman, if you bleed a lot, and also whilst you bleeding, there's clots coming out, and instead of 4 days or 5 days of your period, it goes on to 8 days, 7 days, and things like that, and you still bleed quite a lot, especially from day 2 onwards, you continue bleeding a lot. I mean, when we say bleeding, it's not when you put a normal pad on, it doesn't work. You bleed a lot, you have pains, there's clots coming as well. You should know, or even if you don't know, you have to think that this is not normal. So fibers usually develop and grow as long as the ovaries are producing these hormones as well. If your doctor feels an irregularity in your shape of the uterus, or if you come in with symptoms, they will probably order a diagnostic test like an ultrasound, ask you to go and have an ultrasound, and which will indicate that you have a fibroid or you don't. Usually, some of them are very small, some are big, and some can even block the fallopian tube. So if you are a married person or trying to have a baby, the sperm is like the sperm goes up and just drops. So it doesn't really it won't let you, have babies or become a pregnant. And also between the bleedings, pressure in the abdomen and pelvic pain, you feel that. Sometimes you feel like, oh, your back hurts so badly. Things like this, you need to have a concern, and you have to at least go to your health professional to have an examination or test. Sometimes, if you also do a test, your hemoglobin can drop. I have a friend who was so concerned. I mean, she was becoming tired, not, ready to do things. And she felt like she was working a lot, and that was making her being fatigued and, having palpitation, shortness of breath, and things like that. The worst part was, even if she hoovers the house, she needs to stop and sit down. So she said one day, Linda, I couldn't bear this anymore. So she went to the GP and they did a blood test, and they did concentrate on her hemoglobin. Hemoglobin normally, I think now, is 130 to 150, and her was 69.
So that
She
was
wasn't
very.
having any internal bleeding or whatsoever. It just a heavy bleeds. So if you have a heavy bleeds, you having tiredness, palpitation, shortness of breath, you do little thing, you become tired. Please make sure to go to your GP, your healthcare provider, and do a blood test. Probably every month, try, if you can, do a blood test and just see the consistency of your hemoglobin, and it will help. The hemoglobin, it helps, it gives you energy. So you need to do hemoglobin level test to see what is happening.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Before you come in, Miss Owusu Ansah, I would like us to acknowledge Auntie Christiana Sapon. She's always with us. Say good afternoon, Sister Hannah, watching you live from Amsterdam. Thank you so much. And Sister Christiana Sapon, we wish you a happy Mother's Day. For the fact that you always spend your time sitting down watching us from Amsterdam, and whoever is watching us from Amsterdam, if you are a woman, we wish you a happy Mother's Day. And if you are a gentleman, Mr. Akon George, then you all join us to wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day. Thank you. As we continue, fibroid. Mr.
Right.
Owusu,
Let me quickly add this. So the hemoglobin, someone asked what is hemoglobin or HB. The hemoglobin is blood in our body that transport oxygen around the whole body. So the amount of oxygen that delivered to the body tissue depends on the number of red blood cells. So this is how the hemoglobin works in our body.
thank you so much. Mr. Owusu Ansah, do you want to come in here,
Yep.
please?
And that results in that breath or breathing issues. If you have low level of the hemoglobin, then it means the amount of oxygen that would be transported along or around your body in a particular moment would also be less, and so you would have problems in breathing as well. She has talked about pain, heavy bleeds. I want to add that in relation to the size of the um, fibroid, so when the size of the tissue is taken into consideration, an individual who has it may experience these. The fibroid tissue may enlarge and then press upon the uterine lining, and that could cause pain, as she has talked about. But then it can also become large, affect the position and um, nature of the uterus, and in effect also affect the bladder as well. It might push against your bladder, yeah. And so an individual having this condition may um, um, be having the urgency, like frequent urination.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just in a small amount of time, you feel the urge or the need to pass urine, and that might be um, um, a sign that you might have fibroid. And then also constipation. This also comes about in relation to the size of the tissue. So if it grows in size and then presses upon any other organ, then that organ is affected in its function. So the intestines, mostly the colon, um, all those. So the individual having this condition might also experience constipation. So if you have constipation and then you have treated it, but then it is persistent, then you have to be mindful of this, and then go to your GP so they do further tests. And finally, pain in relation to sexual intercourse may also be experienced by the individual. So, fibroid is not a small issue to deal with, since it affects almost all the other systems in function. By the way, the other systems function, they get affected, and so women should be mindful of all these signs and symptoms, and then be ready to act when they find themselves in any of these situations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, I think what you have given us, both of you, it has covered the signs and symptoms. So we
Yeah.
don't need to go there. So we would then move forward, except if you have any additional comments on it. However, how does fibroid affect fertility?
Okay. So quickly, as we have talked about earlier, the tissue might enlarge and then turn up to cover the tube, the um, opening of the fallopian tube. If this happens, then it means the egg, the sperm may not get access to the eggs to fertilize them. So it blocks the connection between the um, male sperm and then the female ovary, and that is the problem that occurs in terms of fertility when one has fibroid.
Linda, have you got any additional contribution?
And I think that's all that Maxwell has said. Yeah.
Thank you so much, lady and gentlemen. At this
I'll
moment,
quickly just add, I'm sorry, Hannah.
it's okay.
When we go to YouTube, let's just type in and see um, how the uterus look like, how the fallopian tube is, and when you add the fiber, you will see that the fibroid, when it's large, as Maxwell said, it blocks some part that, when you have an intercourse, that helps the sperms to go in and fertilize and meet the eggs and things like that. When the fibroid is large, it blocks, the areas, and there's no way you can get pregnant until something has been done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, lady and a gentleman. Auntie Christiana Sapon is asking a question, but we will come back to that question as we go along. How can it be diagnosed at all, fibroid?
You can diagnose yourself when you have a fibroid. You should know when you have, continuous bleeding and things like that. But if you're not sure what it is, you go to your healthcare provider and they will do abdominal ultrasound scan to check to see what is happening in there. Yeah, so that's what I can say. Or transvaginal ultrasound scan as well. It's where a small ultrasound probe is inserted into your vagina, and they will do that. Or they will just do an ultrasound at the abdomen just to put the board there and take a picture, and then they will let your healthcare provider know the results, and they will inform you what is happening.
Thank you so much. Ms. Ansah, you have any additional
Okay,
contribution?
so mostly it is when there has been persistent bleeding, constipation, urinary urgency, and frequency. But the definitive um, detector, of course, would be the scan. So if you have any of these signs and symptoms persisting, and you send it to your healthcare provider, there will be other tests such as the urine test, the hemoglobin, and the blood tests, and other tests as well to rule out certain conditions, since they also have similar signs and symptoms. But the one that truly defines and brings out this diagnosis would be the scans, all the scans, the ultrasound scan.
Thank you so much. I think we have two questions there that we have to attend to. But beforehand, there is a promotion going on this platform, Reach More Media. If you watch 50 of our videos, at the end of the video, you take a screenshot and then you send it to the platform number. There is a number that we've been always showing. You send it to the number, then in addition to that, you have to ask 50 people to subscribe to this channel, and you have a chance to win a laptop. That's the first prize. The second one is a mobile phone. You watch 40 of our videos and ask 40 people to subscribe to this channel, and you have the chance to win a mobile phone. The third prize is a hamper. That one you ask 30 people to subscribe and you watch 30 of our videos. The fourth one is 20 of our videos plus 20 subscribers. At the end of each video, you have to send a message or you screenshot and then you send it to the number that we always show. We will show it at the right time, please. And the last one is 15 of our videos, and then you ask 15 people to subscribe to the channel, and you have the chance to have a hamper. What is in the hamper? It's you that will be able to tell us what is in, but it's a good deal that we are giving you. We have OAP. OAP is a money transfer company that send money to Ghana. As soon as the money is sent, your designated or the person that you are sending it to receive it instantly. Why don't you use OA Pay? The first transfer that you make, you get £5, sorry, £7 on it. It was £5, but it's changed to £7. So you see, we have increased it for you to send it free to your family members or for a project that you are making in Ghana. So please use OA transfer, money transfer. Thank you so much. We continue to wish all mothers from other countries that are celebrating Mother's Day today a happy, happy Mother's Day. Sister Christiana Sapon says, it's a question that is coming, so please prepare for this question. I learned a lot of African women have fibroid than white women. Why? Is it because of the food African women eat? Please help me. Thanks.
Okay. Um, I can say that partly it is related to the diet, but it should be assessed in a holistic way, in the sense that the entire lifestyle modification, or the entire livelihood of the African and then the Western person differs, and so all those factors would have to be considered before that line is drawn. So I would say the way of life of the African is different from the Western um, or European person. So their diet, yes, that's included. Um, if they are subjected to exercise, regular exercise or not, all those are factors that have to be considered before we draw that conclusive line. And of course, it has been shown or proven that in terms of say when diet is excluded, when the food they eat is taken out, things like exercise, um, the way they take in water, rest, um, the way they are experienced to or exposed to the air, and the way they use it, all those things differ from how the African does her thing. And you can attest to this fact that most of the Western people, they love exercising. Yes, they do that. That could decrease their risk by a percentage. So those factors are supposed to be considered. Then it comes to the diet. That is also true. That is why I said it can be said it is a partial contributor. But on the side of the African, the type of food we take and what we use it for could really affect us very, very much. Examples are, the refined sugar, the processed foods, and all that. You will find out that what it does to the body is it impairs the functions of the liver, the human liver. It puts so much stress on the liver, and then the liver too has a role to play in the release of those hormones, Sister Linda talked about, the estrogen and then the progesterone. And so, if you have a weakened liver, then it means definitely the release levels of these hormones are going to be affected, and it would in turn have um, an effect on your womb when these hormones are taken into consideration. And that's, I would say, be the reason why Africans, mostly when the uh, researches are done, most of the Africans have the condition. So it has to be the entire way of life, but then exercising and then the type of food we eat. are the major ones that I would say play that role. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Sister Linda, are you okay?
Yeah, it's just vitamin D is very important to take. Of course, Maslow has said a lot. So our intake, the vitamin D is very important. So increase your vitamin D intake, and it will help inhibit the growth of fibroids. So, I mean, of course, blacks, when it comes to the Western world, we are the one that have the fibroid as much as Maxwell has mentioned a lot. So to help us to prevent it, we need to have our vitamins and also eat well, eat our greens, and it will help.
Okay. So a quick one. Even in relation to the vitamin D, you will realize that when your salt intake is up the roof, it affects the functioning of your vitamin D because it binds up. There's a lot of sodium in your blood, and then the vitamin D tends to leave without actually performing its function. So higher salt intake can really also affect you in that way. So you could see that yes, there are all these factors that would amount to an African having this. Our salt intake too is it's just when she mentioned the vitamin D that I um, thought about that because Africans and our salt intake is a different story.
Thank you, because we want the food to be very tasty, and so we make it to the maximum that will make the food appetizing. Thank you for your advice. We will learn from this and we will reduce our salt intake. And Brother Akon is also adding something to what Sister Christiana has asked. That at first it wasn't like that, but because Africans have now adopted the white diet and neglected our diets, that's why currently fibroid cases attending our clinics are high. This is very, very something. I think one day we will go in, because the reason why I'm saying this, because the white themselves, they are taking their own food, but nothing is happening to them. But why is it that when we take,
We have a
we
problem.
get, yes, we get complications associated to that. I think in
Very
the
interesting.
future we will go into that, but today we
We have
cannot dig into that too much, else we will divert our ways from today's topic, will be diverted into an argument. Yeah, thank you so much. So what I was about to ask you, I think you've covered most of it. That how can lifestyle changes affect women in terms of fibroid?
okay. So
Or women with fibroid, whichever way
yeah,
that you understand it.
that is just about much as we have already talked about. So it has to be your entire lifestyle. You have to stick to, let me say, a healthful lifestyle involving all the things we've been talking about um, in the previous discussion. So your diet in consideration, how you exercise, your exposure to the sun, your sleep, rest and relaxation techniques, and how you go about medications, even if they are prescribed, how well you stick to the advice given to you and not going off track and abusing drugs and all those aspects. But I can say that if uh, the dietary aspect is monitored, um, that will go a long way because the reason I am saying this is that um, that the fibroid tissue takes up its nutrition just as any other cell would do. And if you use things like the processed foods and the refined foods. You see, with them, they go into the bloodstream real quick, and then the assimilation is just there and then. It's not like the regular food that it will take time to digest, and then before they are absorbed, the nutrients are absorbed into the bloodstream. Um, if you take refined sugar and then processed food and other harmful substances like alcohol and nicotine, it just gets straight into the bloodstream, and then those tissues, they take them up quickly and then use them to um, grow. And so if the dietary aspect is really monitored, I would say that that will go a very long way to help you, and then the other factors will be added. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. At this moment, before I come to Sister Linda, I would like to acknowledge one of our daughter, that is um, one of our daughters, sorry, that is celebrating her birthday today. She is a daughter of Mami T on Abuche Munsem, which she brings to us every Saturday evening. Abuche Munsem, she is the host of Abuche Munsem. Her daughter, Denisha, is 13 years old. So, Denisha, wherever you are, your aunties and uncles from Richmond Media are wishing you a happy, happy, blessed birthday. May you live long. May you live to fulfill the promise of God that God brought you to this world to fulfill. Whatever road that you take, may you grow to come and support us in Richmond Media. Thank you so much, Mommy T, wherever you are, please message. If your daughter is not watching us, just give her our love. Thank you so much. Happy, happy birthday, Tanisha. Auntie Linda, have you got any additional contribution to that?
What I will add is if we change our lifestyles, all these diseases we always talk about will not happen. But of course, we're human. So from now on, I think we should all try as much as possible add our fruits and vegetables to our diet even more than what we usually eat. So if you're someone that you don't eat more fruit or vegetables or grains, you have to start adding that to your dietary, which will help.
Thank you so much. So, among the fruits and veg, have we got specific ones that we can recommend? We are just creating awareness and then promoting health. So, I think when it comes to diet, and we have idea or knowledge about whatever discussion that we are having this afternoon, we can only suggest to see how that can help our viewers at the moment. Have we got specific ones that we think will help us in order not to prevent the formation of the fibroid, or if it has already been formed, how does that, or do those fruit and veg or what did I say, diet help shrink it or reduce it? But beforehand, Brother Akon George says, I'm really enjoying the discussion. God bless the team. And God bless you too, Brother Akon, for watching us this afternoon. To all our viewers, we really appreciate you. We love you so much. The fact that today you are watching us, be an International Mother's Day, you are spending the time with us, listening to the topic fibroid. God bless you all wherever you are, whichever country is celebrating the Mother's Day today. We wish you all happy, happy Mother's Day. Yeah. Please, have you got any suggestion? Yeah.
As you said, we all learning. we are all learning. So some of the fruits are broccoli. So that there are a lot of researchers saying when you eat more fruits and vegetables, it helps with the immunity, the immune system of the body. So apples, tomato or cherry tomatoes, the small ones, broccoli, cabbage. I was told the red cabbage is the best if you can. Me personally, I didn't even know the red cabbage was so sweet and even better than the white. I tried and it's the best. Now my cabbage is red cabbage. Red cabbage is very, very good. And that also lower the risk of developing fiber. So when we eat healthy or we have good choices of fruits and vegetables, things like whole grain, instead of going for white rice and things like that, you go for, brown rice and, things that you think, oh, this doesn't taste nice, but they are the best for the body. Our peaches, our avocados, and figs and things like that. It does help. Yeah.
Okay. We have been talking about diet for a while now, and what I mostly say is that I wouldn't say maybe specific foods, though what Sister Linda said, they are very, very, very good. But my reason for saying there wouldn't be specifics is that we live in different geographic areas, right? And so in your area, the fruits, the seeds, the nuts, the grains that are there, they are for you. They are yours. Um, um, when it comes to fruits like banana, well, um, I do not know if it's everywhere in the world. Yet, it's a good source. As she said, fruits are good. The reason I mentioned banana is because it has high magnesium, and so you should do the researches. The food that have magnesium, they also help in the production of the progesterone hormone. So if you take in foods that have magnesium, then it means you will be covered in that regard. The progesterone will also be up in your blood, and it wouldn't be only the uh, estrogen, the walnuts, the almonds. So just look into your area, and then the seeds, the grains, the nuts, the vegetables, and the fruits, and the leaves as well. You use all those. But what they are going to do for you is that I have already said it, but I am repeating. Since our bodies were designed to absorb or use the kind of nutrients in plants, you see, the human body, the elements that are for the upkeep of the human body, they are found in the soil. They are no they are not in any other place but the soil. And so God designed it that the plants should take those nutrients, then we go to them for the refill and then upkeep. If you use plant-based food, what it does is, since the body recognizes that type, the food takes it time to digest, and then the body has enough time to segregate, select all the useful things they need. But then if you go in for the refined products, mostly it goes straight into the bloodstream, and then it's going up into your cells, which is going to affect you in one way or the other. That is why I mostly project that we use the plant-based food, because they give the body enough room to analyze and use the useful nutrients. The other foods, they just come, they do their job, and then it will end up causing harm to your body. So please, the refined foods and the processed foods, we have to be very careful about that, because lots of diseases come about as a result of these. So let's stick mostly to the plant foods. Look into your area, get what is there for you, and only when you do not react to a particular kind of food, you are free to use it.
Thank Thank you so much. At this moment, let's acknowledge Sister Tai Mohammed says Happy Mother's Day to all the amazing mothers out there. You will not labor in vain. Amen. And then she continued to say that enjoying this lovely topic, trust the team to educate us on this topic. Thank you. She's giving us a tamper pendant, a clap of amen emoji. Um, so what are the treatment options for fibroid if there are some?
Okay, so in relation to the hormones involved, when it comes to the medical setting, um, we try to replace or alter the levels of those hormones. And since we have already discussed that prolonged exposure to estrogen mostly brings about the fibroid, then there needs to be that balance. So mostly individuals are put on a progesterone injection that's balances the estrogen levels to cause a normal environment for the uterus to function. So what is basically done in the hospital setting or in the healthcare setting is we aim at replacing or balancing the levels of progesterone to the estrogen, and then vitamin D supplements as well, as Sister Linda mentioned. That also helps. So the individual is put on these medications. But please, and again, you would have to stick to the treatment regimen. But then when um, the size of the fibroid tissue has become much of a problem, then it needs to be taken out of the uterus by surgery. And so there is also the surgical option of treatment. But sad to say, there are certain situations in which the fibroid affects the uterus in such a way that there can't be any possible proper function of the uterus, and in that case, the uterus has to be taken out of your system, and then it's just so sad. So that is the final option. If the fibroid has caused very great damage, then it means that uterus has to be taken out. So initially, in the lower stages, it starts with the hormone medication. Then it gets to removal of tissue, the fibroid tissues, making sure the womb is intact. Then finally, if it has gotten so worse, the uterus is taken out. And this uh, is done or it happens because there's a type of the fibroid that can grow into the pelvic cavity. And when such happens, it becomes really fatal. So they don't wait for that to happen. They'll take the uterus off to save the individual. Okay.
Thank you so much. Sister Linda, do you want to add anything or we should go to the
It's all has been said, but I sometimes when you call your GP, they will tell you, I mean, after the scan, what they have seen is, the treatment is sort of they mentioned, oh, if you have contraceptive, it will help to reduce the flow of the blood. Or sometimes they said, oh, let's give you a pill to reduce the flow of the bleeding and things like that. I think with the ultrasound, do that first just to make sure how big the fibroid is. And then you sit down with your, health professional. In this country, they really listen. You sit down, you decide what is the best for you. It's not always what the doctor thinks it will help you. If you think you're not happy with it, you don't have to go for it. But you both sit down and talk about it and decide what treatment will be the best for you. I also heard herbs. I don't know. I heard
that one we cannot suggest it because
no.
scientifically we don't know what has been proven, or we
That's
don't
true.
have the evidence to support it. So we will leave that one in your hands. And then when we talk about the vitamin D and all the other food rich in magnesium, we are not telling you to go and take them. We are suggesting that this is what our research is backing up with what we are discussing today. So if that, you can start eating foods that are rich in these foods, but sorry, in this kind of nutrients or vitamins, in order to prevent yourself. So when we are saying this, we are talking of you balancing your diet to have a healthy life. Brother Akon says castor oil application on the lower abdomen also has the ability to reduce the myoma. That is coming from Brother Akon. I don't have any evidence backing this, but I don't know what research that he has made that he is giving this one out. But that is from his own analysis that he's supporting us with this. He continued to say that then also a CT of cinnamon powder, turmeric powder,
Turmeric, yeah.
mustard seed also can serve as a uterine cleanser to help in prevention of fibroid. Brother Akon, thank you so much for your contribution today. I will plead with you always to join us as we continue to discuss our health issues. Sister Ivona Samoa says, good afternoon, Sister Ivona Samoa. And Sister Comfort Botsma says, good job. Giving us thumb up and then clap. Sister Comfort is watching us from Belgium. I want to mention the place, but it's not coming. So, sister, forgive me next time. I will know your place. And then when I visit there, so I'll be able to announce it. Thank you so much, lady and gentlemen, for our final question as the umbrella of all guidelines and policies whose recommendation on fibroid, please.
I'll quickly say the recommendation from WHO. Well, they said the effective medication for the treatment of fibroids are the ginadutripin. It's a release hormone agonist. I think Brother Maxwell mentioned that is a GnRHA. It helps, and also Solidex as well. The GnRH agonist cause a low estrogen.
Yep.
So that causes reduction size of the tumor or the uterus.
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
That's substance used, the gonadotropin. It has been proven that it helps shrink the fibroid tissue. So that is mostly the go-to treatment when the tissue has become so large that it is affecting the entire function of the uterus. So before surgery is considered, they try this to see if they can shrink it. However, it has the side effects of hot flashes, muscle stiffness, and vaginal dryness, as well as increased sweating a lot. So they give other supplements in addition to take care of these symptoms. But I would say that what our brother suggested, brother George, the castor seed oil and then the cinnamon as well as the turmeric, they have substances that promote the action of the progesterone releasing gland, and so it helps. They boost liver function as well. So I can say that it helps, but then the quantity to take and how to use it should also come into play. So with that, you'd have to talk to your GP in conjunction with a naturopathist so that they can tell you how to go about using such substances. Don't just go and then use them, because if you use them excessively, something otherwise too might happen. So you just have to talk to your GP, because you always have the option of going in for the alternate medicine. You have that right. So you talk to your GP that you want to try this, and then they would, in conjunction with the naturopathist, they would give you the plan to go ahead. So that is it.
Thank you so much, lady and the gentleman. It looks like our time is fast spent, but the program has been very interactive and very interesting. But the time is not on our side because we have to go to the other program, which is from the beginning. So at this time, I would like to say very thank you, big thank you to both of you. You have done amazing job, and to our viewers, listeners, please, we say very thank you so much for spending your time with us for these health issues. And I know the next time you call your friend and family members to also join us as we continue to discuss issues surrounding our health. Today's topic is fibroid, the one of the problems that is facing most women in the world. And as we or Mr. Akon or Auntie Christiana Sapon said, mostly related to the Afro Caribbean women. We have seen what we have given you. We've listened to us this afternoon. So now, at least, even if we don't have any idea of what a fibroid is, now we know what a fibroid is, and we know how to protect ourselves by preventing fibroid from occurring. But if we have it, what can we do? If you watch the video again, you didn't come early, there are all the suggestions that Sister Linda and Mr. Owusu and Ansah both have joined together to give us this afternoon. Once again, we wish every mother on this platform, wherever you are watching us from, a happy, happy Mother's Day. Though it's not UK's Mother's Day, but most of the countries are celebrating it. So we join all of you to celebrate today, to celebrate womanhood and to celebrate motherhood. Either you have it or not, we wish you a happy, happy Mother's Day. Until the same time again, 1500 UK time and 1400 Ghana time, which is 3 o'clock UK time and 2 o'clock Ghana time, we shall meet again. Have a blessed week. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.